This one-lane bridge is the only land link between Manitoulin Island and the mainland. And this bridge is the only road connection between Perry Island and the rest of Ontario. Both share a similar backstory and similar challenges. They're both mechanical swing bridges, more than a century old, and, well, they've seen better days. If the government can't deliver their replacement soon, the thousands of people that live on these islands will be cut off from the rest of Canada. Welcome to the swing bridges of Georgian Bay. I'm going to split this video into two parts. Both of these bridges have a fascinating backstory, and it wouldn't do it justice to try to cram them all into one video. But before our story splits, there's a lot that they have in common. Both were built in the 1910s and originally meant to handle railway traffic. In the mid-20th century, crews upgraded the bridges so that cars could also drive across. Eventually, the railways left town, and that left these two communities with single-lane highway bridges connecting them to the mainland. That's the way it's been ever since. In 1881, the Manitoulin and North Shore Railway got clearance to build a line to the North Channel. The idea of building a railway to Little Current was attractive at the time. The waters of the North Channel were fairly deep, so it was a good shipping port. The railway chose Goat Island across from Little Current as its end destination. Here, Great Lakes freighters would tie up to transfer coal, sulfur, and other industrial products. It was a major operation, and it helped to support countless families in Little Current over the years. Meanwhile, islanders insisted that the railway service the town of Little Current. At the time, it made sense for the future plans of the railway. There was talk of building all the way to the south end of Manitoulin, then across a railway ferry to the Bruce Peninsula. For a whole variety of reasons, that route never came to pass. Here in Little Current, railway builders faced a unique problem. How could they reach an island without blocking ship traffic? You have to remember that at this time, ships were the main way people and goods got around, so blocking a waterway simply wasn't an option. The best answer was a bridge that could move out of the way. The railway agreed to build into the town. It hired American firm Baller and Hodge to design a bridge over the channel. Baller was world-renowned as a bridge builder, including for his swing bridges. He was also a watercolor painter on the side, and he was known for being thoughtful about his designs. Baller chose a swing bridge design for Little Current. It would pivot around a center gear and stay in the open position unless a train needed to cross. Now, the controls and the engine for the bridge were on the bridge itself, so whenever there was a train, an operator would have to row a boat out to the bridge and swing it manually. Construction started in 1912 and the bridge opened in 1913. When the crews were building the center turning gear, they threw in a copy of the Manitoulin Expositor newspaper as a sort of time capsule. That news outlet still exists today, and it's the oldest one still in existence in Northern Ontario. In fact, it's where I got my start in journalism. The first train ran between Manitoulin and Sudbury in 1913. The people of Manitoulin Island were overjoyed to have the railway come to town. Besides the jobs that it created at the terminals, it also let people and businesses send products more effectively. Now, the train was slow. It took about 4 hours to get from Manitoulin to Sudbury, but it was still one of the fastest links to the routes across Canada. For decades, this bridge carried train traffic only. There was a small car ferry for people who wanted to drive across to Little Current. And the roads were really rough at this time, so the ferry was more than enough to handle the traffic. But as road quality went up, so too did traffic levels. Crews set to upgrade the bridge so that both trains and cars could use it, just not at the same time, of course. In November 1945, the first car drove across the swing bridge. The new road crossing also brought this to Manitoulin. These are the only traffic lights on the entire island. After highway upgrades in the 1960s, the railway line became even less important. Canadian Pacific Railway, which now owned the line, abandoned the spur across the bridge. It kept running freight trains to the Goat Island coal docks until the early 1980s, but that too would come to an end. In 1982, the Ontario government took over the bridge as a highway crossing. By 1985, it had taken out the rails, and into the 2000s, only the ballast-covered roadbed remains. 110 years after it first connected Manitoulin Island to the mainland, the Little Current Swing Bridge still stands. But it's not doing so great. Small holes have started to form in the steel, and there's been times in recent years where it's failed to swing altogether. Yes, it's slow, it causes traffic, and it's literally falling apart, but despite all that, there's still a lot of nostalgia tied to this bridge. The railway and the highway are what brought a lot of families to Little Current, and it almost symbolizes Manitoulin getting a proper connection to the rest of Canada.
My name is Daryl Koibier. I'm born and raised on Manitoulin and one of the bridge operators for the swing bridge. There's not really breakdowns, it's just little glitches, but we managed to figure out all the problems and we know how to fix it.
This bridge has become deeply tied to Manitoulin's identity. It shows up in artwork and even on beer. There was also a play set on Manitoulin Island that heavily featured the swing bridge. For a lot of people, reaching the end of the highway and stopping at the bridge makes them feel like they're home, and having to wait to get across forces them back to the slower pace of island time. As much as some people around here try not to think about it, there's going to come a time when this bridge will swing no more. In 2018, the Ontario Ministry of Transportation said it was time to replace the swing bridge. And it was going to start a multi-year study to figure out what should take its place. People across Manitoulin Island were quick to share their opinions. The Manitoulin Expositor ran several letters to the editor, and it also interviewed a historian about what he thought the new crossing should look like. Some people said we should just keep fixing this old bridge forever, never mind the impracticality of constantly repairing a crumbling machine. Others said the government should build a fixed high-level bridge or a tunnel under the channel, so there would be no wait for boats at all. It seemed like this was the biggest discussion topic around here in decades, and in 2021, the Ministry of Transportation announced its chosen plan. The government shared diagrams and drawings of what the new crossing would look like, and through the magic of editing, I can show you what they proposed. The new skyline of Little Current would look something a little like this. Yeah, okay, so they're just going to build an identical new bridge next to the old one. So many people told the consultants that they felt sentimental about the old bridge, so the government decided that it would just design a new one with pretty much the same shape as before. The new bridge will have 2 lanes of traffic to allow Highway 6 to flow uninterrupted, except, of course, when the bridge swings to let boats go by. Construction would happen just west of the current bridge, so it could keep swinging during the build phase. But that left one major question unanswered. What would happen with the old bridge? The swing bridge is significant beyond locals' memories. It's on the Provincial Heritage Registry, and it is the oldest structure on a provincial highway in Ontario. Some people say they want the bridge to stay where it is but swung in the open position forever. Others say that if the bridge has to go, it should be kept in one piece and saved somewhere else. Others, though, say this old bridge is just that, an old bridge, and they wouldn't miss it if it were cut up for scrap. At the time I filmed this, the heritage assessment isn't yet done, so how that chapter will end is still a mystery.
It's a piece of history and it's old. And there's been a number of people that have operated this bridge, so yeah, there's history, and it's going to be sad to see it go.
There's another swing bridge on the other side of Georgian Bay. It's about as old as this one, but it doesn't seem to carry the same sentimentality as the Little Current Bridge. I'll explore that more in the next part of this video in Wasauksing First Nation on Perry Island. In the meantime, though, what can we learn from the story of the Little Current Bridge? For one, it's interesting that a railway company would put thought and creativity into a bridge design when they could have just built something cheap and utilitarian. Instead, they've created a symbol that still resonates with people a century later. The bridge shows how feelings of identity can get tied to certain places or things. It shows how people will fight hard for the things they believe in, even if, to an outsider, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And the bridge shows that if you can make enough noise, well, the government sometimes will act in your favor. For now, this century-old original bridge is still Manitoulin Island's only land link to the rest of Ontario. When its replacement opens up, it'll carry forward more than a century of stories and memories and earn its place as a part of Canada's living history.